Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be covering the character creation process for the 1d10 system. In our previous video, we covered step 2, attributes. Now we're going to be moving on to step 3, which is your ancestry. So ancestry represents any combination of your racial history, species, culture, or geographical positioning and the effect this has had on your character's development. As you're making your character, you'll be able to choose the kind of influence this has had on you. This could be whether it's made you stronger, faster, smarter, more socially gifted, or maybe you've picked up some special abilities as a result of your ancestry. So in this step, there are two parts to it. The first part allows you to customize your character by either assigning increasing an attribute by 1 point, or you can choose a level 1 universal feature that better represents your character's ancestry and the gifts that come along with that. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be continuing with our previous character, Ignis Fireheart. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at his attributes and see, well, what would happen if we increased either one of these attributes by 1, or whether we should potentially choose a universal feature which may better represent him. So given we've got an Inquisitor type character who's got a noble background, because we've got a mental of 3, that's a maximum during character creation, so we can't really increase that further. But we could increase our social or physical attribute as a way of representing maybe for physical, it could be that because of our dragon heritage, we're a bit tougher and stronger. Maybe we've got resilient skin or enhanced constitution. Or from social, potentially we could be leaning into our noble and inquisitorial side where we're really good at dealing with other people. We're very street smart. We're able to kind of embolden and lead other people. So there's some two options that we could look at. Alternatively, if we didn't want either of those options, we could head over to our universal features and look at the level 1 list. And in this list, we could have a look and see, is there anything here that better represents the character that we're trying to make? So for example, if we wanted to look at things based on our heritage, perhaps we're more alert, perhaps we can breathe on land and water, so maybe we're some sort of aquatic type of drake skin. Perhaps we're a bit partially robotic, and so an automaton could be useful. Maybe we've got a vampiric heritage, and so we're like a vampiric drake skin. Potentially we have a companion or a little creature that helps us along. Maybe our senses are a little bit sharper. We've got better vision and better ability to be able to ignore low visibility environmental effects. Maybe we've got a bit of luck. Maybe we're extra trained due to our noble education. We've got a few extra skills that we're trained in. Or perhaps we're very sneaky. So looking at all of these, nothing particularly jumps out at me that I would prefer. I actually think I'd prefer to increase an attribute. So let's pop back over to Ancestry. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to choose to increase our social attribute by 1. I'm going to pop that up to 3. Now what happens is when you do that, all derived characteristics that come from this attribute also get impacted. So this is a really good example to show. So in this instance, our attack bonus for social is equal to our social attribute plus our expertise. So because we've put this up by 1, this will also increase by 1. And so that goes to 4. And similarly, our defense is our social attribute plus 5 plus our expertise bonus, which brings that up to 9. So that's now modified that attribute, increasing it up to 9, which is great. The second part of our ancestry is determining if we know any additional languages. By default, every creature knows the common language. So let's mark that down in our character sheet under languages. And then we can choose one of these other languages that are available to us. So we have alien, which represents things that unusual, strange, maybe interplanetary creatures would use. Archaic, which is used by ancient and magical creatures. Beast, which is used by beasts and fae and animals. Binary, which is generally used by constructs and automata and robots. Common, which we already have. Ciphers, which are basically is a language that's written all in codes. It allows you to write encoded messages and where you have to decrypt and interpret them. Primordial, which is spoken by elemental and other supernatural creatures. And finally, signing, which allows you to speak with hands and gestures instead of verbally articulating what you'd like to say. Given this character concept stems from someone from the inquisitorial type of background, I think something like ciphers would be really cool, where maybe they write coded messages to one another, keeping secrets, maybe keeping diaries and journals so that nobody else can read them. So let's pop that down and choose ciphers as our language. So now that we've done that, we've completed this step. We'll be moving on to the next step, which will be choosing our skills. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for your time.